Okay, Neil, very warm welcome to our interview. Can you start off then just by telling me a bit about CNi Solutions and who you are and how it all came about?
Well, my name's Neil Haydock. I'm from CNi Solutions. I'm director of the company. Set it up myself about 6 months ago, sort of off the back of developing a previous IT company for 13 years, and I thought it was time to sort of move on, from that situation and push things further forward, and just try and put my motivation and passion out there about computer support, that I've been doing for over 20 years basically, and I'm just very passionate about providing computer support to businesses, so they can make the most out of their IT systems, and sort of keep their business moving forward, and ticking over. When you get sort of downtime with systems, it's the business comes to a halt, and that's the worst thing really. So and I want to try and provide computer support in a proactive manner, so that we're avoiding those downtimes, and it's, I found it's more me telling my customers about problems before they've happened, so that we avoid those situations. They're not ringing me to say the system's down. It's me ringing them saying, yeah, I know, the proactive monitoring we put on your system, it's sent me an email, it's saying it's low on disk space or it's low on resources, it needs a reboot, it needs this doing or that doing. And then we're on top of the situation basically, and that's kind of the way that I like to give the support.
Okay, so what's creating the demand for this then? Obviously business is changing like crazy at the moment. We've all seen it in small businesses. How is business changing in the IT world in terms of what creates the demand for you in your business?
Well, everything now is computer driven. Previously, not everybody had IT systems, but now it's absolutely everybody that's got them. And if that stops, then the business just comes to a halt, like I said. So it's like having gas and electric and things like that into your business. Computer services, computer support. It's a very necessary thing. So
and how does CNi take advantage of the changes then in the business world? Particularly, I'm thinking, obviously, what strikes me is you've got a large business with an IT manager. You ring up the IT department and they send somebody down. We all remember that if we worked in corporate sector. But I'm assuming now that with the amount of IT around, that smaller businesses are suddenly, I haven't got somebody to call. Is that where your market is potentially growing, like offering a virtual service?
Yeah, that's it. People like I say need that to be able to call someone, and get their sort of their issues resolved as soon as possible, really, and not just be able to think, oh, I'll have a look now for some IT support, and then and I'll try and do it myself, sort of thing. They need that definite, they can ring someone, that they're on top of the situation straight away and resolve it, and they're back up and running.
So how's the technology changed then over the last 5 or 10 years? I mean, obviously things are moving at a very, very fast pace. We all can see that. What sort of IT systems would you tend to be supporting now, maybe compared with 5 or 6 years ago?
Everything's definitely moving towards the cloud now, certainly for small businesses, and it would seem now even sort of medium-sized businesses are embracing that technology. So that's been a big change recently, and people no longer really seem to want to pay a large upfront cost for software licensing and hardware. They want to just pay a certain amount per month that's like a fixed cost, if you like. It's obviously a lot smaller amount, and it's over a period of time, but you're constantly then up to date as well, and everything's generally then sort of backed up, and so there's less chance of failure and data loss.
Okay, so talk us through what the cloud is for those of us that are sitting here thinking that sounds very interesting.
Cloud,
but what the hell's the cloud?
The cloud. Well, it's always, the cloud has always represented the internet, and it's always been drawn like that on diagrams, and that's kind of where the names come from, and that's where these services are. They're sort of in the cloud. Obviously, data centres, of sort of large organisations have got the data centres set up in various locations, but the access to it is through the internet, through the cloud, so that's where it's all kind of hosted.
And do you see, I mean, obviously the cloud technology and what everybody's starting to get into now, and I think even domestically people are using the cloud on their iPads
to
and
back
such
up
like.
everything. It's all...
So where do you see that going then? Do you just in terms of your own opinions of where it might, in a few years' time, how might we be using the cloud in technology terms that we're maybe not using it now?
I just see that everything that's everybody's servers probably, they won't have them in their own offices anymore. They'll all be sort of virtualized and put into data centers. So then sort of the sort of the energy costs. You know, you're not having to run a server in your office that's on constantly. You know, someone else is doing that and managing it probably in a very green sort of way. And you're not having to sort of think about backing up your own systems and the failure of it. It's all kind of taken care of. I can see that everything will probably go that route. Obviously, you'll still need some kind of device to access that in your office. You know, a PC or some kind of mobile device. You know, but that's kind of where I see it heading.
Kind of the end of hard drives and the end of hard drives frying and losing all your documents.
That's it. Yeah, I mean that's the biggest worry for everyone, and it's like the biggest pain for ourselves really. If a hard drive fails, okay, if you're on a contract with us, it's covered, and the 3 or 4 hours or whatever it takes to replace that and reinstall everything. You know, that is the worst sort of scenario, and hard drives are in the very nature sort of quite fragile and frail. You know, so to get away from that is the best thing really.
So obviously there must be, just like in any industries nowadays, plenty of competition around.
Yeah.
What's different, would you say, about CNi? Where's your main unique selling points and your main unique service points in business?
I think I touched on it slightly with the proactive sort of approach. That's one of the main things where we like to be, telling our customers what could have happened, or rather than them sort of having to ring us and do that. And customer service itself, I think is very, very important. Obviously it's got to be backed up by good technical support, but I think customer service is possibly ahead of the technical support really. Sometimes even if you're slightly unsure yourself about what's wrong, if you're keeping the customer up to date, with where things are at, and you're being honest and saying we're not quite sure, rather than to sort of pull the wool over their eyes a little bit and come out with some technical jargon, and then go quiet because you're not sure what to say to them. I think you need to move away from that and just be very sort of transparent and upfront about what is going on, and keep them up to date, and then they're generally very happy with that. And then you say, well, it's going to be another half an hour, and then we've found the issue now, we've resolved it, and then they think that's brilliant, so I think that's the way to do it really.
So speed of fixing it in its essence must be massive then, because like you said earlier, that without it you can be really up the creek with that path.
So fast response times, put in a contract that you can respond within a certain amount of time, and making sure you do that, or even faster, of course. That's the key to another element to keeping yourself ahead of competitors. I think.
Is there an element of this which one of the challenges perhaps is to convince the smaller business that they need this?
Yeah.
In that. I'll give you an example. In our geeky world, part of our challenge, of course, is to get across the fact that actually digital media is here now. It's mainstream. It's not out on the periphery anymore.
Yeah.
But of course, you've got to convince them that it's worth spending the money to actually get that service.
Yeah.
Is there anything in that? Are all the people you're selling to and promoting this to going, yeah, we know we need it, bring it on, or is there an element of trying to convince them that it's something they need to be seriously thinking about?
There is a little bit, yeah. You have to, we've got quite a few case studies of people trying to manage the systems themselves, and it's generally people who own the business who are trying to sort of, cut a cost out really, and then sort of repair problems themselves. But it's taking them away from their sort of main role in the business, taking up a lot of their time, and they're losing focus on maintaining their own business and driving it forward. With like trying to get a virus off a PC or something like that, or get a printer working again that stopped working. So, to hand that over to us, then frees up their role so that they can manage the business properly, and we can take care of the IT side for them.
So does that work on do you have a kind of upfront fees or and then monthly, or how does it work?
Yeah, we've got various packages. Yeah, we've got about 3 or 4 different packages, which can all be tailored anyway, depending on what the business wants and the size of the business. You can go from sort of a pay-as-you-go kind of thing, if you like, to then sort of paying a set amount per month that we generally sort of base on the size of the network that's involved. So
bespoke.
Yeah.
Quotes, really.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I mean, on our website we've got 3 sort of packages listed to give people an idea of what they can have, and the variations between them. But it's generally we tailor it to specific to each business really, because every business is different. So.
Okay, so let's just have a bit of a wander now into the real world. That's all the theory. What are any particular examples that you could give me that a case study, if you like, where you had a particular requirement. Just explain to me what exactly their problem was and how you fixed it, how you took the pain away.
Yeah, there's one I can mention about a company that was quite outdated with their systems, got quite a lot old PCs. The Microsoft Office version was a long way out of date, and they needed sort of bringing up to date basically, and then having a package to do maintain their system afterwards, so that they weren't having to do it themselves. So and I recommended them the cloud sort of route to get with the Microsoft Office. For a certain amount per month, they could have the latest version of Office and have Exchange functionality to sort of link the sort of computers together, so they could all share calendars and share email folders and things like that. So it was going from quite a basic system that was kind of looking after themselves, quite out of date, bringing it bang up to date straight away, really, with very sort of low outlay of costs. They've got sourced them some sort of refurbished machines, which were very, very cheap to buy, but they're only like a year old, still with warranty. And then got the latest version of Microsoft Office using Exchange, which for a business of that size, quite a small business, it was very good to do that for them, and then maintain the system afterwards.
Fantastic.
Give them support on the latest versions of the software and stuff.
Okay, so to find out more, the website address is
www.cnisolutions.co.uk.
Okay, Neil. Thanks very much indeed for joining me today.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers.